Another video today. We're watching a video from ATOZY on how the title's called "This TikToker's $975 million deal very suspicious." Now, today the TikToker we're watching in the deal we're talking about is Kahbe. If you remember him back in the day, he blew up just by doing this. But yeah, let's get into it.
One of the biggest TikTokers just sold his company in a $975 million deal, which is...
That's what I was going to say. That's just... Bro almost gets $1 billion. Think about that. For his company. 1 billion. Almost.
insane. Except the numbers don't make any sense.
The numbers, basically. What do they mean?
And now analysts and a lot of confused people online are asking, how does any of this math even work?
Kahbe, the world's biggest TikToker, has signed a $975 million deal to turn his 360 million followers into big money. The partnership gives financial firm Rich Sparkle exclusive global rights to Lame's brand for 36 months, turning him from an influencer into an equity-backed creator, according to a company statement.
Okay, so the payment wasn't cash, it was stock. Basically shares that only matter if you can actually sell them. And the company buying his online likeness essentially made about $6 million reportedly printing documents before all of this happened. But now, after all this, its valuation randomly exploded. So there's just a lot that just does not make any sense here. But as many people know, Kahbe is one of the most followed people on TikTok with over 160 million followers and billions of likes. He started posting during COVID after losing his factory job, blew up very fast, and within a few years, he was everywhere. Met Gala, Super Bowl ads, fashion campaigns, brand deals, the whole 9 yards.
I mean, no, it's kind of crazy. Like, I expected him to be famous on TikTok. That was it. Then all of a sudden I'm scrolling on TikTok, then like when he blows up, and I'm seeing him at red carpets. I'm like, huh? Then I'm seeing him at the Grammys, the Emmys. I'm like, what? Bro's getting invited to these things. We're just doing this. I don't think I've ever seen a video of him talk. Once. Not once.
Forbes, Kahbe made about $20 million from his career so far. But also, I know Forbes very often is not accurate whatsoever. So who knows what the real number could be? He could have made 10 million, he could have made 50.
So it's not like a huge deal to get on Forbes magazine anymore.
Million. Maybe even more. Hard to say. Because at the end of the day, Kahbe is not, or well, he kind of is now, but he wasn't a public company, so he doesn't have to report his earnings quarterly. So it's hard to really say how much the dude was making. But his earnings would be coming from endorsements, partnerships, and appearances altogether. But either way, $20 million is just an absurd amount of money when you started reacting to other TikToks during the pandemic. But remember this ballpark range of what he's made in his career, because it becomes
6 years ago, man, when he blew up. 6 or 7.
important to the story later on. But other than that, I mean, honestly, Kahbe doesn't have too many controversies tied to him. Like, there were some court filings from 2024 that showed that he had a paid endorsement deal with Skechers, and the agreement was that he was set to earn about $1 million over 2 years in exchange for a fixed amount of TikToks, Instagram Reels, and Stories. And that is a massive contract, but a fairly normal-sized deal for an influencer his size.
Yeah, that's what
but
I was gonna say.
according to the filings, Skechers later initiated arbitration against Kahbe. And real quick,
dude, I would be so happy. Skechers hits me up. Yeah, we'll give you $1 million in 2 years. Just make TikToks with our Skechers in it. Okay.
arbitration just means private court. Basically, instead of a public lawsuit, the dispute gets handled behind closed doors. So Skechers allegedly claimed that Kahbe refused to cooperate with parts of the deal and that he was photographed wearing Nike shoes. Whoopsie. But at the end of the day, it was just a contract dispute. But now this $975 million deal isn't just like a brand deal. No, this is a public company transaction with way higher stakes and way more rules and way less room for casual mistakes like that. Like the mistakes he seemed to make were, you know, with a shoe deal. And then you also had that whole thing where a lot of rumors were saying that he was arrested by ICE in Las Vegas, but that turned out to be fake. He was detained and allowed to leave the country. Essentially, he overstayed his visa and left the States last summer. But again,
I would love. Okay, sorry to throw this a little bit of a political. I would love to see the left wing side talk about this. Apparently, I supported him. No, he overstayed his visa and he was told, "Please leave the country." So he did. Oh, I wonder how they would spin that one.
Again, no arrest. So as of right now, he's had no legal trouble or real criminal issues. So when headlines said that he sold his company for $975 million, a lot of people had the same reaction. Wait, how did we get from like a $20 million estimate of career earnings to a $975 million valuation? And that's where things start getting weird. Not illegal, as we know of, just very...
Which, in the next 10 years, I'm looking for a movie that's going to come out. I forgot what the guy's name is, but it's going to be about him. He made $100 billion in one day. No way that was legal. Zero way that was legal. I mean, there's no way.
Confusing, because it just does not make sense.
Hold on, we got to look at this. Who made 100 B in one day? Larry Ellison, yeah. In a single day. It was literally like, I think it was kind of sucked. It was literally like the day of, or the day before, or the day after Charlie Kirk unfortunately passed away. But yeah, a 40% surge in electrical corporation stock following. Yeah, see, it was stock. That's the other reason why I think we got another Jordan Belfort on our hands, boys. 100 billion in one day.
So,
bro literally could have just spent $25 million on a night just to throw money away, and he still would be set for 3 lifetimes. Insane.
Let's talk about the deal itself, because the headline makes it sound way simpler than it actually is. Because when you hear a $975 million deal, most people just picture a giant check or a wire transfer hitting his account, and suddenly he's basically a billionaire. Well, this deal did not work like that. So according to the SEC filings,
honestly, for a deal that big and it for being public, I wouldn't want it all immediately transferred either, because it's just risk of getting fucking robbed. But I would honestly like this, not stake deal, stock deal. Like, I get all my money in stocks. I sell half of it, and I leave the other half in, so it can go up. Yeah. And I'm rich as fuck.
This was a all-stock deal. Basically, instead of paying cash, the company paid Kahbe in shares of their own stock. So, simplifying this, he didn't get money. He got pieces of paper that say, hey, this might be worth money if you can sell it. His payment is basically ownership of a merged company. If the company does well, the shares matter more. So who knows? There could be a chance that he's being taken advantage of in this situation. Hard to tell because we don't have a lot of details yet. But those shares came from a company called Rich Sparkle Holdings, which is publicly traded and based in Hong Kong. And as a part of the deal, they issued 75 million new shares to buy Kahbe's company, Step Distinct.
One day I want to go to Hong Kong. Not for like vacation, well, partially vacation, but it's not like a vacation spot I want to go to. I want to go there for specifically watches. Because if I ever have 5K, I could buy a box of like watches. Or 20K, I could buy a box of like, you get a few Rolex in there, you can get some Tissot's in there, you get some Cartiers in there. Boom! Fire. That's why I want to go to Hong Kong.
Limited. Because the stock price was very high at the time, these shares...
Obviously, I don't think the Rolex you would get in there, it's not a mystery box where it could be above the value you pay. You're getting like vintage Rolexes and stuff like that in there that are worth like 2-3K that you can sell.
We're valued at about $975 million on paper. And that, on paper, is very important here because the stock value isn't really real money until you sell it. And whether you can sell it depends on, things of like how many shares are actively trading, how many people want to buy, and whether selling a big chunk would crash the price or not. And spoiler alert, if he tried to sell all the shares right now, he wouldn't even get a fraction out, and that would completely tank the company in the process because it seems like there's like no liquidity here. That's why Forbes already said they won't count Kahbe as a billionaire from this deal. The value exists as a number, not as spendable cash. Originally, Kahbe's company that he sold, Step Distinctive, existed to manage Kahbe's brand. This means handling brand deals, organizing sponsorships, licensing his image, and making sure companies pay him to post things. Basically, it was his business wrapper around him. Essentially, it was a brand management company built around one creator. And now, here's where everything shifts, because after the sale, Rich Sparkle says that Step Distinctive will become the center of a much bigger operation. Not just posting ads, but, you know, becoming a full-scale e-commerce, live stream shopping, global brand partnerships, and even an AI digital twin of Kahbe that can sell products 24/7 in different languages. Okay. Basically, instead of Kahbe being paid to promote brands, the plan is to have Kahbe essentially be the platform. It's kind of like the difference between we manage sponsorships for the creator and we're building a global shopping network around one person. But it gets weirder because the company who bought Kahbe's public image, Rich Sparkle, isn't a big tech giant or famous media company either. They're a small public company that only went public last summer. And at the time of their IPO...
Okay, that's kind of crazy. You have that much money and you went public? Well, I guess you didn't really pay him at all. You kind of swindled him into giving you his company. I mean, that's just crazy. They're trying really hard to blow up fast. And, like, really fast and huge.
Which is basically when they first sold stock to the public, they were valued at around $50 million. And their business is printing financial documents. Okay, talk about a hard pivot. Like, I truly have no clue how a brand shift like that even happens. Like, what kind of company meeting is that? Hey guys, I know we've gotten really good at printing these documents, but I'm thinking we just start buying influencers and turning them into AI influencers. How dystopian is this? I would never take a deal like that.
It's crazy how fast this world, I guess, not just our country, this world is turning into AI money. Because, like, a few years ago, the fires in California, those were all set on purpose, and now this is why it was on purpose. A guy bought that city, and he wanted to make it an AI city. How do you make it an AI city? You gotta demolish everything, right? Burnt it, then bought it. Some big tech mogul bought that city, and now he's trying to now he's making it into an AI city in California. Kind of crazy. But, like, guarantee you, to watch or get the stuff that Kahbe's, like, selling, you gotta do a monthly subscription to not even own it. Just to rent it. Like, PS5s, I think you can still own them, but there's a leasing option now. Like, you have to lease your PS5 for, I think it was $25 a month. And it's not like the monthly payments on, like, you can do on computers and stuff like that, where you own it at the end, like when you're done paying it, you own it. With these, you don't. They can take it from you whenever they fucking feel like it. So, like, say $75 a month. 10 years later, you're still gonna be paying $75 a month for a freaking PlayStation. And who knows, one day they can just take it from you. Kind of crazy. Instead of you just paying $80 a month for 3 years for, like, a $2,000 computer, and then all of a sudden the computer's actually yours. Like, it's yours. You own it. They can't do shit about it. But the other thing is, like, I wonder how that works. If you miss your payments, do you think you just will never get accepted for that type of thing again? Or you're just gonna get, like, fuck. Like, the cops gonna knock on your door.
By the way, I don't care how much money I'm getting thrown at me. I've said no to massive multi-year gambling deals, and hell no, I'm not doing those things. And I would absolutely not license myself out to be ATOZY AI. If you ever see ATOZY AI somewhere, and it's not some, like, parody that I'm doing on my own channel as a bit, that's not licensed by me. Please report that, because that's not me. And I wouldn't be doing a deal like that because I think, honestly, it's just kind of like a net negative to society. But according to their own filings, Rich Sparkle made less than $6 million in revenue in 2024. So when people saw that the same company was now buying an influencer brand in a deal worth $975 million, the obvious question is how and why that valuation? Because this just does not make sense. But it may have fooled retail investors. So who knows if that was by design or not. But after the Kahbe deal was announced, Rich Sparkle's stock price shot up more than 650%. So,
fuck, I should have put money in that.
Yeah. that did some numbers to the stock. And for a short time, it traded above $180 per share, which made the company look like it was suddenly worth over $16 billion. On paper, this is very important. On paper. Because, you know, here's the important part. Only a very small number of those shares were actually trading. So it seems like there wasn't a lot of liquidity. So even small trades could move the price a whole bunch. And that's why some financial experts said the valuation didn't reflect the company's real size or revenue. It reflected hype and thin trading. So if you're getting whiplash from how all over the place these numbers are, yeah, you're not alone. Because that's why analysts started paying attention. Not to Kahbe.
But why? Like, why are we throwing all... I'm confused on why this company's trying to, like, put all this...
But the structure of the deal and how fast the stock moved. One securities attorney described the situation as very suspect. And another analyst said it seems completely like a Chinese stock promotion. So honestly, I don't even know what that means, but that's kind of a funny quote.
Chinese stock. I don't know what that means exactly, but I just take it as they're trying to promote their stock to make more money off the stock rather than their company.
Then another expert said they'd only seen stock charts.
So they're trying to make the stock seem like it's worth billions of dollars, but in reality, it's worth like 200 million, which is still a shit ton. And when people put big money into it, now the company's gonna be making all the money. People aren't.
It's like this in pump and dump schemes. So who knows where this is going? And the reason people are comparing this to a pump and dump is just because of how fast the price jumped and how few shares were trading and how the company's business suddenly changed direction. Another former SEC investigator pointed out the company announced the deal was closed, but at the time hadn't filed.
All right, if you want to figure out what's going on in the stock right here, you need to pull out the guy that cracked down Jordan Belfort. I'm joking. We all know bro basically gave himself away.
All the usual paperwork confirming that with regulators, which is also interesting, especially for a deal that size. Basically, this means the company said, this is done, while investors were still waiting for the official receipts. And then, of course, the stock went into free fall. So the stock crashed from about $180 all the way down to about $40 a share. So that swing alone would make any analyst nervous, especially when it's tied to one big announcement. But wait, there's more. Because there's actually a third company that just entered into the mix as well, called Three Sheep Group. Again, Rich Sparkle Holdings, that's the public company that bought Kahbe's brand and paid for it with stock. They handle the filings, the shares, and the headline number that says, hey, we did a $975 million deal. But then you have Three Sheep Group over here. They didn't buy anything. Their job is to actually run the business, the live stream shopping and the AI version of Kahbe's that's supposed to sell the products around the clock. So I guess this purchase by Sparkles of Kahbe's image allows retail holders to now buy a portion of Kahbe's image. Okay, it's getting interesting out here, guys. But retail can hold his image, and then this other company is gonna try to monetize that image as much as possible. Again, it's getting really interesting out here, guys. And this operating company is a little bit interesting here because they don't have the best reputation. According to reporting, Three Sheep is one of the biggest live stream commerce operators in China, led by an influencer known as Crazy Little Brother Yang. But they've proven they can move massive amounts of products during live streams, but they're also allegedly a controversial operator. So Three Sheep has previously been fined for around $10 million by Chinese regulators for misleading marketing, specifically selling products that were promoted as luxury Hong Kong goods, but actually came from mainland China. And after that, their live stream operations were temporarily suspended, and they were actually allowed to resume full activity in March of last year. Under the Kahbe deal, though, Three Sheep will exclusively operate his commercial business for the next 3 years, including the rollout of his AI digital twin and the global live stream sales strategy. And honestly, that's just more stuff that doesn't really make that much sense about this entire deal, because there's no public timeline for launch, no confirmed product list, no detailed explanation of how revenue or oversight will work outside of China, and I'm just kind of breaking down as much as I can with the information that's public, because we don't have a lot to go off of here, guys. And that's what a lot of analysts are going, yeah, this is weird about, because I think the AI images of influencers selling stuff around the clock was going to be weird no matter what. But from what I could tell, AI salespeople are proving to be pretty successful in China, because there are virtual humans now.
Didn't AI, like the big AI that like they're using today, start in China? So
4 hours a day selling stuff all day, every day, no breaks, because it's literally just AI there selling stuff. So that's crazy. And I feel like they're only going to get more realistic by the day, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, all right. I don't want to take the whole video from him because he posted this 20 hours ago. If you want to watch the rest of the video or with the whole video without the pauses and stuff, whatever, ATOZY, cool guy, like his stuff. And yeah, thank you for watching. Remember, God first and God bless. Love y'all.